super easy, whole food plant-based spinach artichoke dip. Artichoke spinach dip? You know what I mean. Tomato. This is so easy. It is so delicious. I'm going to show you how to make it right now. Let's go play. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Corinne. I'm not only the drummer for the thrash metal band Nitemare Hippie Children, I'm also a foodie who loves to play in the kitchen, playing with mostly whole foods plant-based recipes, showing you how easy it is to eat healthier foods, have healthier options, one recipe at a time, one meal at a time. And as you saw today, we are doing a vegan artichoke spinach dip. What I like to do is find recipes, whether it be on the YouTubes or the Googles or the 10,000,000 cookbooks that I have, and play with recipes and make it my own. I've tried several different vegan, whole food, plant-based recipes for artichoke spinach dip, because who doesn't like artichoke spinach dip? Okay, I know some of you might not, but whatever. This is what we're doing today, and there's a couple of different secret ingredients. I'm just going to get right to it. I have a pan heating up over here, and in that pan, I have ADHD, so you're going to have to bear with me, and I have my little notes written down here so I don't forget to tell you what the hell I have going on, so bear with me. In this pan here is a 1/4 cup of chopped onion, which, if you've seen any of my previous videos, you know how much I cannot stand to chop onions. So when I do, on rare occasion, because I love onions and they're super good and healthy for you, I will chop the onion, use whatever I need to, and then stick the rest of it in a little Ziploc bag, stick it in my freezer to then pull out and use whenever I need. So again, going in this pan is a 1/4 cup of onion and about a tablespoon of minced garlic. You can use a clove or two of fresh garlic if you want. I don't like chopping garlic, so I do the easy route and I buy the jar, keep it in my fridge, and that's that. I'm going to put this in my pan, which I've already had heating up over a medium-low heat. I want to sweat the onion. I don't want to brown them or caramelize them. I just want to sweat them a little bit, turn them transparent. Yeah, I'm going to sweat them a little bit. So that is going in there. While that's doing its thing, I have about a cup of cashews that I have been soaking for about 2 hours. The cashews I purchase are raw cashews. They're not roasted, they're not salted, they're just raw cashews. I'll put a link below to the kind that I purchase. I get them off Amazon because, you know me, I get everything off Amazon. So anyways, my nuts have been soaking for about 2 hours just to soften them up. So when I put them into my blender, they get creamy, creamified, softer, smushy. I'm going to turn them into a cream, hence the water they've been soaking in. You can soak your nuts up to 24 hours, keep them in the fridge, do so, but I would think no more than 24 hours. I've not soaked my nuts longer than 24 hours to know what happens. And I mean, you do you, boo. You can soak your nuts as long as you want, but I would assume over time they'd get a little wrinkly and gross. His old balls. Got an Adam Sandler shirt on here today. Comment below if you know what movie I just referenced with his old balls. Back at it. I'm going to stir my onions and my garlic. And then again, to my high-speed blender here, which I love this blender. I introduced my mom to it. She has the exact same one. You don't need a fancy $10,000,000 Ninja blender. You can get this one. I'll link it below. I've had it for like 2 or 3 years now, and I love it so much. 1 cup of cashews and 2.5 cups of water. That's what it's going in here. Here's the rest of my water. Then I have, and again, I'm looking down at my notes here, 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar and 1 teaspoon of soy sauce. That's going in to also help give it the flavor. And that's all that's going in. I'm going to blend that up. Be right back. That's how easy that was. Everything is blended. It turned it into a cream, and that's exactly what we want. So I'm moving this aside. And then the onions, you can look down here, they've kind of, they've sweated. They're translucent. They've turned lighter, clearer in color, and softer in consistency. That's good enough. Now I'm going to pour this cream into this pan, and then I'll show you the rest of the ingredients. I turned my heat up to more of a medium-high because I want this to come to a very low simmer. We don't want to boil it, just a low simmer. Okay, this has been simmering for just a few minutes, and I'm constantly stirring it. You don't want it to stick to the bottom. You don't want it to get burnt on the bottom. So you got to kind of constantly stir it, which is exactly what I've been doing. And now that I just made a mess on my stove because I stirred it too vigorously, it just kind of spooged on my stove. So that'll be fun to clean up later. Normally, we know a spinach artichoke dip to be made with mayo or sour cream or butter or just a whole bunch of fatty ingredients that are not healthy for you at all. Usually, of course, it tastes amazing, but we don't want all that added extra fat processed shit going into our systems, which is why I love this particular whole food plant-based recipe. It is totally vegan, and it's delicious. So now that this has thickened up a little bit, what kind of gives it the texture, the thicker texture of the dip is these two ingredients right here, the powder ingredients, if you will, which is 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of, the recipe calls for cornstarch. I don't have cornstarch. I have the next best thing, which is arrowroot powder. That is what's going to be the thickening agent in this. And then I also have 2 heaping teaspoons of nooch, aka nutritional yeast, to help give it the cheesy flavor. I'm going to check on this. The texture is perfect. I'm pouring in the powder ingredients, and I'm going to get a whisk to whisk this gently. I'm also turning down my heat to a low. This is going to thicken up pretty fast. I'm going to stir it in so it all gets incorporated, and then I'm going to turn off the heat and put in the rest. I'm turning off my heat, and you see this. Look at how fast, look at how thick that just got. That's what she said. This got so thick, so fast. Look at that. It's almost like mozzarella cheesy. I may even add a little bit of water to this. I'm going to leave it for now, and I'm going to stir in the rest of the ingredients, which are a can of quartered artichoke hearts that I just kind of roughly chopped because I wanted, when I dip whatever I dip in here, whether it be a chip or my homemade bread, which I have sitting back there that I have a recipe for that I'll put a link right up here for you to check out, or a spoon or your finger. This is freaking fantastic. I want artichoke and spinach in almost every bite. So I just rough chopped the artichokes out of the can. Then I also have a butt ton of fresh spinach that I also gave a rough chop to. You can use frozen spinach, but I highly recommend that you defrost the spinach and then put it like in a strainer or a cheesecloth and get all the extra spinach moisture out of there. Unless you want it, you do you, boo. Make it the consistency you want. This is a little bit too thick for me. I am going to add a little bit more water, and you'll see when I add these what happens. And then there's one more key ingredient that we're going to add last. So I'm going to get some more water, add it to this. I'm not going to turn the heat back on, and you'll see what happens. You can now already see in the pan that the spinach is starting to get wilty, and the creamy texture of this is exactly what we want, and it smells freaking fantastic. The last key ingredient to give it the flavor that we are desiring here for your typical artichoke spinach dip is a little can of green chilies. I did not drain this. I want the little green chilies with the juices to go in, and that is exactly what's going to add the flavor that we know and like when it comes to artichoke spinach dip. Now that that is all stirred up, everything is mixed together nicely. I'm going to go find where I put my spoon, give it a taste, and see if I want to add any extra onion powder or garlic powder or a little bit of salt. So be right back. I'm going to do that. I just gave it another taste. That's exactly what it needed. I added a little bit of extra pepper and a little bit of extra garlic salt. Without all that extra added flavor, seasoning, spices, yeah, it just needed a little something, and that's exactly what it needed. It's perfect. So now I'm going to slice off, I have to show you this. My husband and I already got into it earlier, but this homemade bread, which again, I'll link the recipe for you. This is literally the easiest loaf of bread you will ever make. The recipe is, it's so easy. I'm going to slice off a piece of this bread and I'm going to smear some of that on there and show you what it looks like. So give me one sec. All right, I got my homemade bread. And again, you can eat this any way you want. It goes on anything. Okay, I'm taking a big old bite of this because I can't wait to try it on this bread. That is freaking perfect. You're going to have to let me know if you try this out in the comments below and if it worked out for you, what you added, what you took away. I'm always curious to see and find out if you try it. I'm going to finish the rest of this because yum. And again, it smells amazing in here. And that'll last a long time. There's a lot that's going on in there. So again, adjust it to however you want. I hope you enjoyed this. Eat clean, live loud, and I'll see you in the next video. And stick around for the bloopers because, you know, there's always bloopers because that's how I roll. See you soon. Thanks for watching. You can use... Let me start over again. I just wrote it down wrong.